If you're watching this video, it's probably because you don't want to be a loser. And if so, I agree with you. I don't want to be a loser either. I want to be the type of man that people look at and go, wow, Jesus, man, this is a respectable man. That's the type of man I want to be. And by looking at the great men of the past, we are better able to do that as men. So here are 7 characteristics of great men that'll ensure if you use them, you will not become a loser. Number 1, you have to be unwavering in your beliefs. Now, first, this requires you to have beliefs. You have to have beliefs. You have to have morals. You have to sit down and write out a list of the things you believe in, how you should act. That's what you need to do first. And then you need to be unwavering in those beliefs. Socrates was probably one of the best people at being unwavering in his beliefs. He literally died for them. He died because he was unwavering in his beliefs. And if you want to check out the video I did on him, then watch this one up here. Number 2 is self-reflection. Marcus Aurelius was a master at self-reflection. And I don't mean looking at himself in the past and looking at what he did in the past. I think that people get self-reflection wrong. It's not just about looking at the things you did in the past and thinking, well, I could have done this better, or I could have done that better, I should have done this. What I really think self-reflection is about constantly holding a mirror to yourself and constantly going, should I do this? Should I act this way? Maybe I shouldn't do this. But of course, this requires you to first have your own beliefs so that you actually know what you believe you should and should not do. And by the way, having beliefs, having a moral compass to guide you through life is incredibly important as a man. If you don't have it, you can possibly do things that you would never, ever in your life think you'd do. The Nazis, they weren't just some random evil men. They were normal men. They were normal men before the war. But they were amoral. They didn't have morals. To ensure that you don't become that type of man who is willing to cause death and destruction, to do terrible, awful things, if you don't want to be like Mao, Stalin, Hitler, or Pol Pot, any of those guys, then you have to make sure you have a moral compass. Because if you don't have a moral compass, you can do things that you'd never, ever think you could do because you have no direction, you have no guidance in life. And if you don't have beliefs, if you don't have morals to look to that you have to be unwavering with, then you have complete freedom. Everything is fair game. You can be anything, do anything, hurt people in terrible, awful ways, and you don't want to be that. Number 3 is observation. Observation is incredibly important, and all great men did this. All of them. Whether you want to be an architect, an artist, a writer, a ranch hand, doesn't matter. Observation is important. And in my experience, Louis L'Amour was fantastic at observing. And that's why he became a great storyteller, is because while he was in the West, he was observing the people around them, listening to stories people told, observing the country around him so that he could properly write his books later on, which contained such great detail about the type of people in that area, the type of people around during that time, and the type of country, the type of layout of the country within the stories. I also did a video on Louis L'Amour, if you want to check that out, and Marcus Aurelius as well. This is an important one, and it's number 4, they adapt but don't change. And this also requires you having a moral compass, a set of morals, because what a lot of men do nowadays, because they don't have a moral compass, and no one's ever told them that they should have actual beliefs, they should have their own beliefs, their own moral compass, is that they become chameleons. And yes, they're able to adapt to certain situations, but that's because they're not their own person. They're willing to completely change everything about them just to gain a bit more power, just to get an extra dollar. You don't want to be that guy. You don't. Because that guy's disgusting. He's a slimy chameleon that you never want to be. That's a loser. That's a loser. Sure, that guy might make millions or billions of dollars in his life, but he's still slimy, disgusting. And he's not going to die happy, by the way. Socrates was a man who had nothing. Had no shoes. He wore a toga. That's about it. but he had his beliefs. He had his morals, and he carried them with him throughout his whole life, and he was very strict about maintaining them. And he died a much happier man than any guy who is a slimy chameleon ever will. So you have to ask yourself, would you rather die with millions of dollars, which, by the way, actually won't matter when you're dead? Or would you rather die broke, but maintain your integrity throughout your entire life? That's more important. That's the type of man you should be. That's a respectable man. That's the type of man that people are going to look at and go, damn, he's impressive. Holy cow, I want my son to be like him. I want to be like him. That's what you want to be. Also, real quick, guys, if you guys have made it this far, please subscribe and turn on notifications. A very, very small percentage of you guys have notifications on, and only about 30% of you guys are actually subscribed to the channel, so please make sure you do that. I would appreciate it greatly. Thank you. Number 5 is they seek education, not schooling. I think I saw a quote from Albert Einstein who said, "My education is getting in the way of my learning." It was something like that. What schooling has become, it's not about education. It's about making factory workers. They want you, and by the way, when I say they, I mean literally the government as well as big corporations. They want you to be the same person as the guy right next to you. Because if you're the same, you can do the same job. There's lots of the same people to do the same job. And guess what? You're all going to the factories. You're all going to the big tech companies. You're all going to be useful little worker ants in their big operation, which actually benefits you in no way. What you have to do to become a great man, because that's what all great men have done, is you have to find things that you actually want to know. You actually want to understand, and you want to have a thorough understanding of that thing. It could be multiple things. And lots of great men actually had many different interests, and they were very well versed in all those interests. But it was just a couple specific things that they were very good at, they had a good understanding of, and they were very well educated in those things. You don't want to be the guy who is the jack of all trades, because the jack of all trades is good at none of them. He can do a little bit, but he's not good at any of them. You want to be the master of one. Now, number 6 is bravery. And this is also important. I mean, all of these are important in my opinion. But bravery is important because being unwavering in your beliefs requires bravery. And there might be one day where you really have to be brave. You really, really have to be brave. And people around you are going to require it of you. And you should require it of you. You should be the man, and you should know that you're the man who's willing to do what is necessary. Not necessarily sacrificing yourself, because sacrifice implies that that it's not in your constitution to do it. That it's just something you feel obligated to do. It's not sacrifice. It's just what needs to be done. So you want to be the man who, when the time comes, just does what needs to be done. And number 7, they're decisive. They make decisions. They are not indecisive. They're not indefinite people. They are definite, decisive people. If you want to become a great man, you have to make decisions. And this requires you to have a moral code, but also to have a basic layout of your life, how you want it to look, so that you can properly make those decisions and be decisive in order to do what you think needs to be done to achieve what you want to achieve. Anyway, guys, those are 7 characteristics of great men. And I've done 2 other videos that are very similar to this, but I think it's important to go over these things frequently because, well, I think that you, if you're watching this, would like to be a great man one day. And we have great examples of great men from the past. And these are some of their characteristics. So if we can use these, harness these characteristics to become potential great men, that would be fantastic. That's what I want to be. So to me, being able to look at the past is just like a cheat code to really see what you can be. Because so many great men from the past have done things that are actually hard to believe. And they lived virtuous lives as well, which is so difficult. It's so difficult to continuously live a virtuous life, and it's impressive. But that's what I want to do, and if you're watching this video, I'm sure you want that as well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, like I said, turn notifications on and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I also have a email list that you can sign up to, where every week you get a small summary of a great man from the past, as well as emails every time I upload a video like this. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.